Okay, so we're gonna start. Okay, so I'm Candace Day with Morrison House, Sotheby's International Realty, and I'm here to talk to Ryan today about fitness and especially ideas on how to stay fit when you're busy in office or sedentary type roles, especially in real estate. So I've been working out with Ryan and for what, like the last month now?
Yeah, last month or so.
Yeah, so we have actually kind of a unique opportunity to work out together because of what's been going on with the coronavirus. So, Ryan, if you can go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your company and how you got started and what you're currently offering.
Yeah, of course. So I just started my own company. It's called Proprioception. And it basically means how your body moves in the space around it. So it's really important for me because as I have been teaching for about 2 years now, it's really important for me to utilize everyone's movement patterns going forward and sideways. And I think it really relates to life in the way that we're not always going on this straight path. There's always obstacles that you have to overcome. And sometimes you get pushed one way or pushed the other and have to adapt and overcome. I think it really works well with that company. And so that's kind of where my basis has been as far as training. And from this point on, I'm just trying to reach out to as many people as possible. And I think it's something I've always wanted to do is affect change in other people. And so I think this is the best way for me to do it. I got
Awesome.
down here.
Yeah, so you just opened up your physical location, right? About what, a month before this happened?
Yeah, gosh, good timing.
Yeah, I mean, you're not alone. There's a lot of people in the same boat, and even established businesses, that are being blindsided by this. So you can never have perfect timing with starting a business. There never is perfect timing.
No,
But you've pivoted, and now what are you doing to reach your clients?
So now I'm doing online classes. I still have a couple of personal training clients that I do one-on-one sessions with online or with Zoom classes, or just do online workouts. We go through Google Docs and or Google Sheets, and I write the workouts for the week and we communicate back and forth that way. But I'm doing Zoom classes throughout the week. So I think right now I've got Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 7:30 in the morning and at 4 p.m. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. So I do an hour-long Zoom workout, and it encompasses strength training and high-intensity workouts, endurance training, high-intensity interval training, and some cardio, and a lot of fun. Well, I mean, I guess people tell me at the end. We'll find out.
Well, I never want to start the workouts, but I always feel great after I finish them. So, yeah, I highly encourage people. And I think that, like I mentioned this to you, doing the HIIT workouts, and maybe we should mention what HIIT means. A lot of people are not sure. That's high intensity training.
Interval
What's
training.
the extra T for?
Yeah, so high intensive interval training. And so it's
Interval
short.
training. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's short bursts of energy throughout a workout that you're trying to get your heart rate to at least 80% of its maximum heart rate. And like I said, it's for short bursts of time. So a good example is this universal HIIT workout. And it's called Tabata, which you're doing 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and it's 8 different exercises or 4 exercises, and you do 2 rounds. But it doesn't seem like a lot, but going all out for that 20 seconds and having such a short amount of rest, you consume a lot more oxygen during that time. And so they call it an afterburn because you're consuming so much oxygen, your heart rate is up so high that after you're done with the workout, it takes longer for it to come back down and for your body to get into that resting heart rate that you have. And so it creates this afterburn effect. So it's really effective in weight loss.
So you're burning calories during the workout, and then your body is still burning the calories for an hour or 2 hours after.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know specifically how long after. I know it depends on how hard that HIIT workout is. I mean, the harder you're breathing, the harder you're pushing. I mean, you're gonna be burning calories for a little bit after that for sure. It's definitely not
So,
something to load up on all the time, but it's really good to incorporate that into the workout.
so if it was like, if a person was in an ideal position um, to work out as much as they wanted to, how many days a week is it recommended to do something like that?
I think for the high intensity, I wouldn't do it more than maybe like 2 or 3 times a week.
Mhm.
If you are doing it as your workout, definitely no more than that. But as we've done, we'll do like 13 minutes and kind of doing it as many rounds as possible in that 13 minutes. And we'll get our heart rate up and then have it come back down a little bit and back up and so forth, or do this hit training at the end. But 2 to 3 days a week, I would say is probably at most, just because you're putting your body in such a stressed state that it starts really releasing a hormone called cortisol, and that's kind of a stress releasing hormone, which promotes fat storage. So people are doing these high intensity workouts over and over and over and over again. It's great. You're burning a lot of calories, but your body is so stressed all the time that you need to be able to incorporate other things into that as well. So if somebody had a lot of time on their hands to work out, I would honestly incorporate some yoga, some strength training. I would do some endurance training, and then I would throw some HIIT in there, kind of jack of all trades.
So, in thinking of like a busy real estate agent, if they only had 4 hours a week to work out, would it work to be doing something like, say, HIIT on Monday, maybe a rest day, yoga on Wednesday, maybe a run day, and then another HIIT Friday, take a couple days of the weekend? We actually are the busiest on the weekend, so it's really hard to fit in the workout then. So, I mean, would that kind of schedule be ideal to be able to get yourself into optimal shape?
I mean, it kind of depends on what you wanted to do. If it's way different if you're looking at somebody who's, for instance, in real estate and they just wanted to gain muscle mass, and then it would be a little bit of a different conversation. But for somebody who's trying to lose weight and just trying to tone up and live this healthier lifestyle, I think that's a really good way to do it. Especially if you don't have the time, it's such an effective workout in such a short amount of time that um, it would pay dividends off to be able to do that 2 times a week. Incorporate some kind of yoga or cardio. I would definitely always include weight training as well. When you're not able to work out as much as you'd like to, the diet thing comes into play a lot. And I was trying to find a specific number, but diet plays such a massive role in weight loss, just because you need to be able to eat certain calories or certain macronutrients like the fats or the carbs or proteins, whatever. You need to be able to like tap into what will work for you. So for instance, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to eat too much. If you're trying to gain weight and get huge, then you want to eat a lot more. And if you don't have a lot of time to work out, then you need to figure out what you're burning just without working out at all, and then try to go a little bit less than that what you're eating. Diet plays a huge role in weight loss.
Yeah, diet is such a tricky one, especially in this industry, because we are so on the go and could get a call at any minute. I mean, we're basically on call and can get a call, hey, I want to see this house. Can you meet me there in an hour? From a client. And if they're an established client and I've already vetted them, I know that they've been pre-approved. I gotta go. I've got
Right.
to make, and it could be dinner is in an hour, and I haven't eaten. And so now I've
Right.
got to grab something and be on the road. And I usually fall back on granola bars, which are not really that great, protein bars, which are also not that great. I mean, we get
Right.
kind of misled in thinking, oh yeah, a protein bar, you're getting protein, that's healthy.
Yeah.
Like 290 calories, you might as well be eating a candy bar, right?
I think.
But
Oh, go
I
ahead.
justify it because I'm like, well, at least I'm not getting fast food. I'm not stopping at Wendy's. I'm not getting French fries, not getting a burger. I'm not carb loading with bread. Um, what other ways can can you recommend that a person can kind of control that?
I think one thing that you have to realize is just that in itself, and not settling and saying I'm hungry. It's like, what else am I going to do? And going to get fast food is a huge win. Fast food is tastes great just because it's so awful for you. And I know that the United States is up towards the top as far as leading in obesity rates. I mean, it's massive. And the other thing too is stress causes you to release that hormone that I was telling you about, where you start, and it starts storing fat. You start trying to, your body starts trying to hold on to that. So it's another thing too, the
Yeah.
more you're stressed, the more it's gonna be harder for you to shed those pounds. Um, I would just say that on the days that, you're not able to work out, or days that you're getting pulled in all different directions and you don't have a lot of time, it's important to eat something that's nutritious and kind of stay away from things that aren't going to help out so well. A lot of sugar is not really going to do a lot for you. I mean, that's going to, cause problems later on. The thing is it's really important to know if it's something that is important to you as far as losing weight and living like this healthier lifestyle. It's important to find out what your caloric intake is. So it's called your basal metabolic rate. So just standing here, or just sitting here talking to you right now, how many calories do you burn just doing this? From the moment you wake up, you don't do anything to go about your day. I think it's really important to figure that out, because you don't necessarily need to calculate everything, but you know that an apple is not going to be that many calories, and then you know that your granola bar is 290 calories. So if you can kind of figure out, what that is, and throughout the day, just be kind of cognizant of, of what you're eating, I think it will help out a lot. But it takes a really strong person. Maybe people don't even notice it as much, but it takes a really strong person to be able to hold off food cravings when they're leaving the last minute and going to run around as much as they do. I think it's important to cut yourself some slack, or cut other people's slack, and let some of that stress go a little bit, and just think about interesting ways that you can maybe have food already prepped to go. So maybe you don't have food prep for the week, like you're going to have meals every night, but have food prepped in case something happens, and boom, I just grab it and I go.
Yeah, I usually keep when I'm not crazy busy, I will stock up. I have a little mini cooler, and I like to stock up some of the dry goods. I mean,
Yes, it's smart.
like I said, the granola bars and stuff are not the best, but I put almonds in there, things like that are quick and easy. Jerky. I focus mostly on protein because I am told a lot, at least from the interactions I've had locally. I keep getting told, "Oh, you don't eat enough. You should eat more. You should eat more protein." The problem with me, and I don't know if this is just my experience, or if this is, if this is something, there's just certain body types. I have a theory that certain bodies process protein differently. I think that we are all a little bit different. You have those friends that they're just naturally, they have a higher metabolism. They can eat carbs in every single day as much as they want. They won't even gain a pound. But they also don't put on any muscle ever. I have this problem where if I eat the quote unquote recommended, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, I end up just doing nothing. If I do nothing, no weightlifting, no working out, and I just eat protein as recommended, I gain muscle. And it's like, so over the last the journey through and going into fitness, getting back into fitness and going into Spartan races, I put on like almost 20 pounds of muscle, but not losing the fat. So I'm just getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and it's getting harder and harder and harder to work out because I'm heavy. I have to work extra hard. So what would you say to that? Like what comes to mind for you? Like what's a good fix? So I just fall back on the protein, cheese stick, almonds.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and then people will say there's a school of thought, if you eat fruits, like the apple you mentioned, well, there's too much sugar in that. And if you have too much sugar, that's going to convert to fat.
Right.
What do you think?
There's, gosh, there's so much out there as far as, what to eat and how to eat. And I'm no expert, by any means, as far as like the sugars goes, and the same thing with carbs too. There's simple carbs and complex, and same thing with sugars. And, when you look at stuff that grows on nature, like for instance, like grapes, I think have the highest sugar content of any fruit. The only thing is that they're just able to be broken down a lot easier than candy, for instance. So then candy's being broken down, and then eventually there's only so much nutrients out of that. The rest of it's being stored for fat, and you're not able to utilize, what's inside of that food. And that's where that rush of energy comes from, and that huge crash, because it starts digesting it, and then it starts dispersing, and there's nothing nutritional in there. So, I mean, yes, the sugar in the grapes is a lot, but it's also such a complex and healthy sugar, to say that it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if you were constantly eating fruit and stuff like that, maybe I would suggest going towards something, like adding a sandwich in there or something. As far as the protein goes, it's hard because whenever you're working out, your muscles are basically tearing, and so you're utilizing the nutritional, the benefit of eating stuff is when you're done working out, that nutritional stuff that you're eating is helping repair those muscles. The protein has always been, I think, like this.
Like the Band-Aid?
Has been like it has been like the go-to. Like, I want to gain muscle, and like that's where I'm going to eat protein. And there's just so many different types of protein. And just like you said, I mean, I agree, everyone's body digests things differently. I think my metabolism is a lot faster than a lot of other people's, and I think it switches around a lot. And I can tell when mine is getting a little bit higher just because my body temperature starts going up a lot. And it's different how people digest food. As far as the protein goes, if you feel like it's not working for you, I think that's when it comes into play to find that basal metabolic rate, see what that's at, and then from that point you go and get your total daily energy expenditure. I think it is. It's called your TDEE. So you put in there how much you work out, your weight,
Okay.
your age, and then it gives you specifically what's called your macronutrients. I don't know if you've heard people talk about, like,
Right.
you
It
need to
tells you how
watch
much
your
fats,
macros,
right?
protein and carbs you need to lose weight, gain weight, or sustain where you're at. And so even at that,
TDE. Okay, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, if
TDEE.
you have a good calculator for that, like shoot it over and I'll put it in the link with the video.
Okay. Yeah. So once you find that, I've counted my calories before. People say, hey, do you count your macros? It's a lot of work. I mean, you have to calculate everything you put in, and then if it doesn't have, how many teaspoons, or how heavy, or how much or how weight, or what the weight is of it. Like, you have to find it. It's a lot of work.
It
But
is. But when I've done it, it's totally been worth it. I will
it's
say
it's
that
oh yeah,
it pays dividends for sure.
it really does. But once you get that idea of like, okay, well, I can only eat 300 grams of protein, then you can kind of gauge, throughout the day while you're eating. I'll be like, I didn't work out today. Like, I definitely don't need as much carbs as I would on another day, and it burn as many calories today. You can kind of just get that idea. I think, unfortunately for you, it may just be like the way your body type is. You're just a stronger person. And I know people get so discouraged when they start lifting weights. You're like, I'm gaining weight. And it's like, you're not gaining weight. You're gaining muscle mass. It's not necessarily
I don't
good.
want it.
It's not what they want. Right, right. So you just have to work harder on that, on the back end, on trying to not do so much strength training and
Yeah.
lower your caloric intake. And be more of like doing like more endurance stuff, like high repetitions and high intensity. And
Mhm.
steady state cardio is actually proven not to be the greatest thing. But doing those type of things, as far as doing like more strength training.
Mhm. And it sounds like some more stress relief too. So, so sugars, as I mentioned before, there's kind of a challenge in real estate that, we have a lot of business meetings. Of course, not right now, and not as much. But typically, just like the culture of it, meeting with clients and stuff, it's like, Starbucks coffee, which I always try to go, like, I kind of cheat the Starbucks coffee system to make like a good drink
Right.
that is really low calorie as much as possible. Um, so like I substitute for almond milk, things like that,
Right. Right.
half pump on the sweeteners and stuff like that. And but you have that, and then also like the drinking side of things, like there's meeting for drinks with other agents, or just the social aspect of it. There's a
Right.
real like networking social aspect of it. And so much more likely, I think, than a lot of other industries to have less control over our daily calorie and keep on a regular schedule. And we have a lot of sugar that we're putting in our diets. It's just what I see a lot of.
Right.
So are there any are there any like good substitutes for that, or methods to kind of help offset that? I mean, if I do great on my intake of food, like let's just say I'm at 1400 is what I should be consuming calorie wise.
Right.
And I'm like doing like, we'll just say like 1100 in food. That gives me about 300. That's like 2 glasses of wine. I'm done, you know, it doesn't even count the coffee.
No, and
So how do we
why,
offset that? Because we're going to start, our calories are liquid calories. And so.
right. That's why I was saying, like, when you're counting calories and your macronutrients and everything, like when you do it, I mean, it pays off dividends because you are strictly eating what you should eat and maybe a little bit less. And then your body is only getting what it can need. And when it doesn't get what it wants, it starts pulling from your fat stores, and then you start losing weight or gaining weight, however you want. Like I said, it's also a pain in the butt. It's a lot of work. And so at the end of the day, if you're at, 1400 calories and you're at 1200 or 1100 and you only have a couple hundred left, I just feel like, like at that point, it pays itself off because you're enjoying yourself and the stress is kind of being released a little bit, and you're able to just like, I can relax and talk to this client and, could potentially lead to a sale. And I think there's got to be some kind of give there as far as sticking to that specific caloric intake. Like if you go over a couple hundred calories, and just make sure that you're also, trying to maybe cut back a little bit the next day. And like, it kind of moves around a little bit. I think that unless you are specifically trying to reach a specific goal, you're, trying to be, a physique model or try to gain a huge amount of weight, then there is no line there. Like it needs to be, you need to do that. My Dalmatian says, you need to hit that line and then that's it. But unfortunately, I just feel like, as long as you're, flirting around that line, I feel like you're still going to get the results that you need. You just need to be able to be strong enough and strict enough to not snack and, and not get McDonald's or whatever it is. And just like you're saying,
Try to balance it off somewhere else.
Right. I mean, maybe, I know it's also hard because you're trying to, meet this person but maybe order, water with a lime in it, with
gin and tonics.
It's the way around it. I'll be honest, I've done that before. I've gone there and I've asked like, hey, I just want a glass of water with ice, but can you put a lime in there? They look at me weird, like, just give me it. And then people are like,
right, because it's like the social norm thing, and you don't want to be. I know people who don't drink at all, and they just completely avoid those situations because they don't like the peer pressure that they get.
Right.
But yeah, I try to always like find something else that I can do. So anyways, yeah, that's great information. That's a great point. I wanted to ask you about, there's a couple key areas that I mentioned, not only for myself, but I've noticed other people, primarily women, especially people who are sitting, have a problem with, and that is strengthening the lower back and also like the bra fat area. So what are some exercises for that? And then also, let's just say a person is super busy and they've only got 3 days a week, 15 minutes each time. Are there some like key exercises that they can do just to kind of get in that rhythm of exercising? If you ask Joe DeCina with Spartan, he'll just tell you do burpees. But obviously if somebody has a bad back, or they haven't been working out, they haven't been fit for a long time, that's not a good place to start.
Right.
So what are some things that you would recommend for us sedentary real estate agents that are stuck in our cars, stuck at desks? What can we do to incorporate throughout our week?
So one thing that's huge, and I don't think it's looked upon enough, is that, you have these abdominal muscles, but, you have these lower abdominal muscles that are super, super deep. And so what I think a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of back problems come from them not having these really deep, strong abdominal muscles. So you're basically, your stomach starts to come forward, your lower back starts to arch, and it's just an all day thing of not having that body in line, not having this, strong core to be able to engage and pull in. And I'm not seeing you deflex all the time, but it's not just the crunches or the sit-ups and stuff like that you need to do. It's this abdominal work that it's not going to show you any results other than just like having a very strong core and a very strong back, which is that good foundation for eventually getting to that spot. So I know that you can probably attest to this, that whenever we're doing these workouts, I'm always telling you to drive your belly button down, have the small of your back flat against the ground. So if you're ever doing, anything where you're lifting your legs up, you'll notice that your back starts to arch. So once you start driving your belly button down, forcing that small of your back down, you're targeting these really deep abdominal muscles, and that helps out so much with back pain. The same thing with like your glutes. If you could roll out your glutes and try to loosen those up, strengthen those up, your IT bands, which is run along the outside of your legs, your abductors, all those will help with that lower back pain. And another misconception is that there's people that will say out there that you can target certain areas of the body to eliminate that fat, and that's not possible. You cannot do that. When you're working out, your body's going to pull from fat stores. It's not going to be like, oh, there's extra fat stores in my shoulders, I'm going to pull from there. So you can tone up certain areas, which you can most definitely do, but you cannot pull fat from a specific area. The best thing to do there is, like I said earlier, is find that basic.
Wait. So you're saying, so when you have those like booty camp workout ones, and they're like, sculpt and tone your booty by doing all these booty workouts.
Yeah.
That's not true, because it's really just burning the fat overall.
It's burning the fat
and
overall.
You're toning that.
But you're toning that specific area. So you are getting a bigger butt, or like toning up that area, but not because you're burning fat from that specific area, because you're doing workouts for that specific area. So I mean,
sounds great. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you could actually like work in a spot and really like target that, like heat it up or something. I don't know.
You can, it's the same thing. If you want to get huge biceps, you'll do bicep curls. But if you have big arms and you do bicep curls, you're going to build strength, but you're not going to burn any of that fat unless you start doing this, like higher intensity workouts, and not necessarily higher intensity, but you just want to get your
cardio
heart rate up to a specific area. So basically, when you're doing steady state cardio, you're burning calories from fat. The only thing with that is that it takes a long time to be able to burn. So that's why HIIT is just so effective, because you burn more calories in general, but once you don't have any of those calories left to burn, you start going to a deficit, then your body starts pulling from anywhere else it can get from. It starts pulling from those fat calories.
Hold on 1 second. I think you're talking faster than the internet. Are you there? Hit resume. Okay, sorry, we lost you for a second there. So you were saying that the body was pulling from the fat stores once you're doing the high intensity interval training.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you got this part. So when you're doing like steady state cardio, your body's pulling from fat stores. The only problem is it just takes such a long time for you to be able to that steady state cardio for that to be effective. And so where HIIT comes into play is that you start doing these high intensity workouts, you start burning this overall amount of calories, and then you start getting into that deficit and pulling from your fat calories at that point. So it's a really effective way to work out, and it's such a, like I said, a short period of time. So if somebody was specifically wanting to target,
how much time do you need? I heard 20 minutes is like the recommended minimum.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, if you were doing 20 to 30 minutes of high intensity workouts, it pays off, a huge amount. So like if you're also wanting to if you're also wanting to like tone up your butt, and you did 30 minutes of just squats and glute bridges, and you're doing side leg lifts and working on all that stuff, and then did HIIT at the end, now you're toning up that whole area, working on that muscle endurance and strength and and targeting that, and then you're also burning calories at the same time. I mean, that's the best way to see those results.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Hear that, realtors? So you need to set aside at least, let's say, 25 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. You can totally do it. Add in 20 minutes of yoga, add in, you know, a walk or a run for 20 minutes, and you're going to have your body at least at a state of better health and fitness. Maybe you're not going to be a fitness model or a pro athlete, but you're going to be healthier. And that's what we're focused on. Just getting healthier, staying strong during the coronavirus. Okay, so we got to wrap it up. We're down to the last couple minutes, and then we got to work out. So real quick, top 3 favorite workouts, go.
I know people have been talking about it a lot. It's coming up soon. I love the Murph workout. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's
yes.
the mile run. Yeah. So,
but go ahead and explain it because not everybody knows.
So the mile run, you do 300 squats, 200 push-ups, and 100 pull-ups, and then another mile run. And it is extremely brutal. There's another workout that I like where you do 10 squats and 1 burpee, and you do that in 1 minute's time. And then in the second minute, you increase to 2 burpees, third minute, 3 burpees, as you go as long as you can go. And I got the 13 minutes. It is absolutely brutal. And honestly, I love running. So anything with any kind of sprints or any kind of sprint work and doing some kind of workout there, you got me.
Great. So the basics, push-ups, squats, burpees, running, these are your go-to.
That's right.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to working out with you soon, very soon. And I will be sure to share this with you. And thanks for interviewing with me today and sharing with me and the rest of the real estate industry ways that we can stay fit in these busy times and also in our just average lives, really. So thanks, Ryan. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Bye.